Hey, stop right here. You were not brought to this message by accident. If you have been feeling different lately, if certain people have suddenly revealed their true intentions, if you have walked through situations that should have broken you, but somehow you kept standing, then close the door, put your phone on silent, sit somewhere quiet, and give me the next few minutes. Because this message is not about revenge. It is not about wishing suffering upon anyone. It is about understanding a powerful spiritual principle. Sometimes you do not have to fight the people who hurt you. Sometimes you do not have to expose them, confront them, or prove what they did. There are things that happen naturally when someone repeatedly chooses to harm another person, manipulate them, betray them, or intentionally destroy what they cannot control. Call it karma, call it divine justice, call it the law of consequence, call it the universe returning energy. Whatever language you use, the principle is simple. Actions have consequences. And if you have been the person who kept choosing peace when others expected revenge, this message may speak directly to you. So breathe deeply. Let your shoulders relax and listen carefully, because the 10 spiritual laws we are about to explore are not instructions for revenge. They are reminders that you do not have to become cruel simply because someone was cruel to you. The first spiritual law is the law of cause and effect. Everything begins with a cause. Every word creates an effect. Every decision creates a consequence. Every action eventually produces a result. A person may believe they can manipulate everyone around them forever. They may believe nobody sees what they do behind closed doors. They may believe they can lie, betray, exploit, and destroy people without consequences. But life has a way of keeping records, not necessarily in the dramatic way people imagine. Sometimes the consequence is simply that people stop trusting them. Sometimes relationships disappear. Sometimes opportunities close. Sometimes their own behavior eventually creates the circumstances they were trying to avoid. The person who constantly deceives eventually finds themselves surrounded by people they cannot trust. The person who constantly uses people eventually discovers that people no longer want to help them. The person who constantly creates conflict eventually becomes exhausted by the very chaos they created. That is the law of cause and effect, and chosen one. If someone has harmed you, your responsibility is not to become their punishment. Your responsibility is to become wiser. Let consequences do what consequences are designed to do. You keep moving. The second spiritual law is the law of reflection. People often reveal themselves through the way they treat others. What someone repeatedly gives to the world eventually becomes part of the world they experience. If someone gives kindness, they often build relationships based on kindness. If someone gives suspicion, manipulation, jealousy, and hostility, they can gradually create an environment filled with those same qualities. Think about it. A person who constantly assumes everyone is against them may eventually behave in ways that push people away. A person who expects betrayal may treat everyone as an enemy. A person who refuses to trust anyone may create relationships where genuine trust never has the opportunity to develop. Their external world begins reflecting their internal world. This does not mean that every painful thing that happens to someone is their fault. Absolutely not. Life contains injustice. Good people suffer. Bad things happen to innocent people. But the deeper lesson is that your inner character influences the world you create around yourself. So when someone tries to drag you into hatred, do not let them. When someone tries to make you suspicious of everyone, resist it. When someone hurts you and expects you to become bitter, choose something different. Your peace becomes a boundary they cannot cross. The third spiritual law is the law of detachment. This may be one of the most powerful laws you ever learn. Sometimes your greatest victory is walking away without needing an apology. Sometimes your greatest response is silence. Sometimes you win by refusing to participate. There are people who want access to your emotions because your emotional reaction makes them feel powerful. They provoke you. They criticize you. They misunderstand you intentionally. They twist your words. They create drama. And then they wait for you to explode. Do not give them what they came for. Detach. Not because you are weak, because you understand the value of your energy. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not have to explain yourself to everyone. You do not have to convince someone committed to misunderstanding you. And you certainly do not have to destroy your peace trying to prove your innocence to someone who has already decided what they want to believe. Sometimes walking away is not surrender. Sometimes walking away is spiritual maturity. The fourth spiritual law is the law of truth. Truth has a strange quality. You can hide it for a while. You can distort it. You can manipulate the story. You can convince people to believe a false version of events. But maintaining a lie requires constant effort. Truth does not need the same amount of maintenance. Eventually, inconsistencies appear. Stories change, behavior reveals intention, people begin noticing patterns. And sometimes the person who was falsely accused does not need to defend themselves as aggressively as they thought. Time reveals things. This is why you should be careful when someone attacks your character. Do not immediately become obsessed with proving yourself. Ask yourself, what kind of person am I becoming while trying to convince everyone who I am? If you know your heart, if you know your intentions, if you know you did your best to act with integrity, then allow time to reveal what words cannot. You do not have to chase every rumor. You do not have to answer every accusation. You do not have to become a full-time lawyer defending your existence. Walk in truth. Let your life become evidence. The fifth spiritual law is the law of energy. Every interaction costs something. Some people leave you feeling encouraged. Others leave you mentally exhausted. Some conversations give you clarity. Others leave you questioning your own reality. This is why protecting your attention is so important. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess. Where your attention goes, your emotional energy often follows. If you spend every morning thinking about the person who hurt you, they are still controlling part of your day. If you spend hours checking what they are doing, they still occupy your mind. If you constantly imagine how you will get revenge, they are still living inside your thoughts. That is not freedom. Freedom is when their behavior no longer determines your emotional state. You can remember what happened without living inside what happened. You can acknowledge the betrayal without allowing betrayal to become your identity. You can learn from the pain without worshipping the pain. Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. The sixth spiritual law is the law of growth. Pain can either become a prison or become a teacher. The difference is what you do with it. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe someone underestimated you. Maybe someone laughed at your dreams. Maybe someone walked away when you needed them. Maybe someone tried to make you feel insignificant because they were uncomfortable with your growth. You have two choices. You can spend years trying to make them regret what they did, or you can build a life so meaningful that their opinion becomes irrelevant. That is growth. You take the rejection and develop discipline. You take the betrayal and develop discernment. You take the disappointment and develop emotional strength. You take the failure and develop wisdom. You take the loneliness and learn how to stand on your own. Suddenly, the thing that was supposed to destroy you becomes part of the reason you became stronger. And that is a form of justice nobody can take away from you. The seventh spiritual law is the law of alignment. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. Sometimes people disappear from your life because the relationship no longer fits who you are becoming. And yes, that can hurt, especially when you thought they would be there forever. But growth changes relationships. Your priorities change, your standards change, your understanding changes, your tolerance changes. The things you once accepted may suddenly become unacceptable. And sometimes the people who benefited from the old version of you become uncomfortable with the new version. They may say you changed, maybe you did, but change is not always betrayal. Sometimes change is evidence that you finally listened to yourself. Do not force people to remain in your life simply because they have history with you. History is not the same as destiny. Some people belong to your past, some belong to your present, and only a few will belong to the future you are building. The eighth spiritual law is the law of reciprocity. What you consistently contribute to relationships tends to influence what relationships become. This does not mean you should be kind because you expect something in return. Real kindness does not operate like a business transaction, but it does mean you should pay attention to patterns. If you are always giving and someone is always taking, pay attention. If you're always forgiving and someone is always repeating the same offense, pay attention. If you're always showing up and someone only appears when they need something, pay attention. Spiritual maturity is not simply being nice. It is knowing when kindness needs boundaries. You can have a good heart and still say no. You can forgive someone and never give them the same access again. You can wish someone well and still walk away. Forgiveness does not require unlimited access. Peace does not require proximity, and love does not require tolerating destruction. The ninth spiritual law is the law of divine timing. This is difficult because human beings want immediate justice. We want the truth exposed today. We want the apology today. We want the person who hurt us to understand what they did today. But life does not always operate according to our timetable. Sometimes justice is slow, sometimes clarity takes months, sometimes the answer arrives years later, and sometimes you never get the apology you wanted. That is one of the hardest lessons to accept. You may never hear the words, "I was wrong." You may never receive an explanation. You may never see the person admit what they did. So eventually you have to decide, will I allow my healing to depend on someone else's realization, or will I heal because I choose to? That decision changes everything. Do not put your life on pause waiting for another person to become self-aware. Keep living, keep growing, keep building, keep praying, keep becoming. Let time handle what you cannot control. And the 10th spiritual law is perhaps the greatest of them all. The law of inner sovereignty. You belong to yourself. Your mind belongs to you. Your attention belongs to you. Your future belongs to you, and you must be careful not to hand those things over to people simply because they hurt you. Someone can betray you without owning your future. Someone can criticize you without defining your worth. Someone can reject you without determining your destiny. Someone can misunderstand you without changing who you are. Someone can leave you without taking your ability to love again. This is where your real power begins. Not when you defeat your enemy, but when you realize you no longer need to. Listen carefully. If you have been waiting for life to punish someone who hurt you, I want you to consider something deeper. Maybe your greatest victory is not watching them fall. Maybe your greatest victory is watching yourself rise. Maybe the universe does not need you to become their enemy. Maybe God does not need you to become their judge. Maybe your assignment is simply to keep your heart clean, your boundaries strong, your mind focused, and your life moving forward. Because revenge keeps you connected to the person who hurt you. Healing disconnects you, growth disconnects you, peace disconnects you, purpose disconnects you, and one day you wake up and realize something incredible. You are no longer checking whether they regret losing you. You are no longer wondering whether they finally understand your value. You are no longer replaying the conversation in your head. You are no longer imagining what you should have said. You simply do not care anymore, not because you became cold, because you became free. So if someone is trying to harm you right now, do not respond from fear. Do not respond from rage. Do not become obsessed with revenge. Protect yourself, set boundaries, remove yourself from dangerous situations, seek help when necessary, and then allow your life to move forward, because there is something powerful about a person who refuses to become what hurt them. They were betrayed, but they remained trustworthy. They were hated, but they refused to become hateful. They were rejected, but they continued loving. They were underestimated, but they continued building. They were attacked, but they refused to surrender their peace. That is strength. And maybe that is what being chosen really means. Not that you are invincible, not that nothing painful will ever happen to you, not that everyone who opposes you will mysteriously suffer, but that you have been given another opportunity to choose who you become after the pain. So close your eyes for a moment, take a slow breath, and say this quietly to yourself: I release the need for revenge. I release the need to be understood by everyone. I release the need to control another person's consequences. I choose wisdom, I choose peace, I choose boundaries, I choose growth, I choose truth, I choose purpose. What happened to me will not become who I am. What someone did to me will not determine what I do next. I will not become bitter, I will become better. I will not spend my life watching the people who hurt me. I will spend my life building the person I am meant to become. Now breathe. And remember this: you do not need to fight every battle. You do not need to answer every insult. You do not need to expose every person. You do not need to prove your worth. Some battles are won by leaving. Some arguments are won by silence. Some wounds are healed by distance. Some answers arrive through time. And some of the greatest forms of justice happen when you stop allowing someone else's behavior to determine your identity. So if you have been through something painful, take the lesson, leave the poison, keep the wisdom, and keep walking. Because your story is bigger than the people who tried to hurt you. Your future is bigger than your past. Your purpose is bigger than their opinion. And your peace is too valuable to be handed over to someone who does not know how to protect it. This is your reminder. You are not here to spend your life fighting everyone who misunderstands you. You are here to grow. You are here to learn. You are here to become stronger. You are here to build something meaningful, and most importantly, you are here to become the kind of person who no longer needs revenge, because peace has become more valuable than proving a point. So get up, open the door, step back into your life, and leave behind everything that was never meant to follow you forward. The people who tried to break you do not get to write the final chapter, you do, and the next chapter begins now.